Tension is high at Tuyo Bay in Baringo County after hundreds of youth from the Endorois community stormed an estimated 12,000-acre piece of land and claimed ownership. The youth, most of whom came from Mochongoi area, claimed that the piece of land, which was community land, had been grabbed by prominent politicians from the area. Now, area residents scampered for safety when the large group of youth arrived in Tuyo Bay shopping center. They then subdivided the land amongst themselves, vowing to stay there. A contingent of over 60 police officers then immediately moved to the area to ensure things do not get out of hand. According to spokesperson of the youth, Mr. Paul Chepsoi, they had moved into the land to prevent the politicians from selling it.
Tangu 1989, Mochongoi ifunguliwa kama settlement scheme. Hakuna kama jamii atujai ulizwa tutenge wapi kuwe msituni, tutenge wapi kwa chemchemi ya maji. Watu wakabareto wamekuja huku, wameanzia ravine, wamekuja wamejiallocate mashamba na tumeamua tutakaa hapa hivi, tutaanza lala hapa, tuko na mahali mzuri ya kulala na kukula.
Vendors in Eldoret are counting losses running into millions of shillings after their stalls burnt down last evening. Over 10 stalls at the famous Isili Fish Point caught fire shortly after midnight. Now, it is still not clear what caused the inferno that razed down fish, furniture and utensils in the iron sheet structures. Patrick Akama, the chairperson of the Fish Vendors Association, received a call at 1 a.m. notifying him of the incident. The vendors say most of their goods had been procured on loan, and the fish has left most of them not only jobless but also in debt.
Tulipata kama Maasai waka manyumba mengi imechomeka. Kile kitu imechomeka, hata samaki niliingia usiku ikachomeka.
Na hasara ambayo tumepata ni mingi, kwa maana samaki ambayo imechomeka hapa ni zaidi ya tani 4 ambayo imechomeka, na tani moja is 300,000 shillings. Sasa ikiwa tani 4 inaweza kuwa 1.2.
More than 100 families in Nairobi's Huruma estate are counting losses after a fire gutted down homes and property of unknown value. The fire is said to have begun at 6 a.m. when children were preparing to go to school. No injuries or fatalities have been reported. However, residents lament the fire consumed household items, including school uniforms. The residents also complained that efforts to reach the fire department were futile, as they only responded after neighbors had put out the fire. Investigations into the cause of the fire are currently underway.
Nyumba karibu mingi imechomeka na tulishindwa kuingia, na hata watu wa zimamoto tumemita hawajafika. Baada ya kuzima, wananchi wa hapa ndio wamezima, ndio baadaye walikuja. Lakini ile kasara ilipatikana ni mingi sana hapa. Kuna mtu ameumia, lakini vitu zote zilikuwa wanafanywa na kazi yote imechomeka hapa.
The Nairobi Metropolitan PSV SACCOs Union, an umbrella body for PSV SACCOs in Nairobi, is set to move to court to challenge the parking fee increment by Nairobi County government. The body says that the earlier case between the county government and the body had been won on account of several SACCO representatives having been consulted in the decision-making process. The umbrella body has, however, stated today that there exists a total of 103 PSV SACCOs in Nairobi who were not inclusively consulted. Public service vehicles are required to pay 12,000 shillings per month parking fee, up from 3,000 shillings.
County governments come with a structure of hacking the fee, the parking fee. And they think that they had already consulted us. And as a SACCOs, we are not yet consulted. So the case in court, and the first round we lose the case. Now the SACCO who are not consulted, we want to go to a court to enjoin the case in court of appeal.
The parking fees will remain. Definitely, this cost must be passed on to the consumer. It has to be passed on.
There was drama with coffee farmers once again in Nyeri, and this time it was during an annual general meeting. A group of farmers from Mukurweini disrupted the AGM at the Ramokia Coffee Society, protesting against the management. KTN's Karen Derry has that story.
What was supposed to be a calm meeting at the Ramokia Coffee Farmers Society in Mukurweini, Nyeri County turned chaotic. Furious farmers disrupted the annual general meeting despite the heavy presence of police officers. The agitated farmers shouted down the chairman Gateru Kanyo, forcing him to call off the meeting. The meeting held at the Mororo Coffee Factory flopped. No other item in the agenda could be discussed as farmers kept interjecting and challenging the management committee with numerous questions. A splinter group led by Jeffers Masharia of Tambaya Factory, Thandi Njogu of Kagunyu, Frederick Mwangi of Gaikondo and Papias Gedi of the Ngori Factory claimed that by rejecting the chairman's report, the farmers had passed a vote of no confidence in the entire management.
Now, the chairman has already read his report, his chairman's report. When it was put to the vote, the members rejected his report. Legally, what it means in law, if the chairman's report is rejected and is not adopted, automatically the whole board ceases to be in office.
Na sisi tunachoka na hii chama, wanachama wale wanatuongoza. Manake sisi wakati tuliwachagua walisema kawa yetu iko na mawe mwaka wa 2012. Wakaja tena wakatuambia tutapata kitu kinaitwa top up. Hiyo pesa yote walikuwa na kopa bila sisi kujua. Tukaendelea. Tukaenda mwezi wa Juni mwaka jana. Tukaambiwa na governor atatupatia shilingi 30,000. Shilingi 30,000. Baadaye wale wakaenda huko ndani ya bank, wakaja ile pesa wakasema tupewe shilingi 15. Na sisi wakulima tumekataa. Na shauri hivyo tulikwenda kwa mkutano, tukasema hao wanachama waondoke.
The management, however, claimed that a group of detractors were behind their wars and they were only pursuing their own selfish interests. The standoff mostly revolves around the newly installed milling plant at the 6,000-member society. The splinter group also claimed the management had incurred a 52 million shillings debt from their former millers and marketers, which they were finding difficult to repay under the pool marketing system proposed by the county government. Carol Derry for KTN in Mukurweini, Nyeri County.
Women in Kajiado County stormed the area county assembly demanding fair representation of position of leadership. The women stormed the assembly during the opening session and presented their memorandum which stated their demands on appointments. They alleged that women from the Maasai community have been sidelined during appointments for county posts, especially in the assembly and the county executive committee. They have urged the governor to consider their demands and to ensure that they are given an opportunity to serve the people. Kajiado Speaker Johnston Osoi assured them that their demands will be considered.
Na tunataka kuambia county assembly, kama wamama wa Kimasai hawapati nafasi kwa sababu mnawafungia, tutakuja kutaka kwa ghafla. Tunataka kwamba pia kukuambia bwana governor, Public Service Board wakikuletea nominees na hakutakuwa na wamama wale wameteuliwa, utujulishe.
I know there have been some discrepancies in terms of how many women from the indigenous community have found places. I have thrown a caveat, though, that the Constitution is being followed and that as much as possible, we will try as much as we can to ensure that we include indigenous women in the appointments we make at all times.
Two suspected cattle thieves have been shot dead by police in Kiandoto slums of Thika town. Area OCPD Paul Letting says police have been trailing the two suspects following reports that they've been visiting the area at odd hours of the night. Police then managed to trace the two in an abandoned house in the area. It is alleged the suspects engaged the police in a gun battle before they were shot dead. Police managed to recover 2 slaughtered animals, 6 knives, military clothes, and 5 live cows. 2 other suspects managed to escape, and Thika police have launched a manhunt for them.
Any other animal that is slaughtered within an area and you are not sure of the source or you are suspicious of its manner of disposal, please, we want to encourage the members of public not to eat, but instead pass the information to the officials from the Ministry of Public Health, the security agencies around, and especially us even here, so that we can be able to step in and take the necessary action.
A group of senior citizens claiming to be children of the Mau Mau freedom fighters say they are yet to be compensated. The group that met here in Nairobi say they were not represented in the case against British colonialists, and they're now demanding for a second round of compensation. Last year, a British court ordered compensation claims must be brought forward before April 30th this year. The opportunity for a second round of compensation arose on October 22nd, 2013, when the British court made a group litigation order subject to the approval of the President of the Queen's Bench Division. In June last year, the British government and the Mau Mau War Veterans Association reached an out-of-court settlement.
Kwa njia wakati alikanyanga nchi yetu na atatulipa vile ngozi amebeba na makusha ya shui, ngozi ya shui, hata ile ya shato, hata ile ya nini, na ile mnaita migongo sijui inaitwa, na kila kitu, na akienda kulipa ataanja kutoka wayaki wahinga.
Now, the government has been urged to find ways of cutting down on financial wastage as it begins work on the 2014-2015 budget. According to officials of the Institute of Economic Affairs, even with devolution, there was need for financial prudency. The Institute further noted that there was still confusion in funds allocation between the national government and the county governments, especially on projects. This, they said, was a reason behind several billions of shillings still held at the National Treasury. IEA also called on the Commission on Revenue Allocation to be more specific while allocating revenue to cut down the current scenario where lapses exist between counties and the national government.
We don't know if this figure is correct. And this may be another place where we need to contain the wage bill. These figures may be too high. We have to do something to cut down how much we are spending at the county level on wages as well. Okay, so we need to answer that question.
The Constitution requires that the division of revenue bill should be accompanied by a memorandum, which is a good thing, explaining all that and ensuring that it adheres to the principles in the public finance, chapter of the Constitution. Now, the division of revenue bill had all those explanations coming from Treasury. The Division of Revenue Act, which is basically a 6-page document, had even less explanations. So it was the result of a political compromise, certainly.
The 4 men charged over the recent explosion at a restaurant at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport have been released on bail. The suspects, Hassan Abdi, Mohammed, Oman Ali, Yusuf Warsame and Garad Hassan, were released with orders to report to CID headquarters every Friday until further orders are given. They were each released on a 20 million shilling bond with sureties of a similar amount. The 4 were accused of being behind the blast that occurred at a restaurant at JKIA, which was first explained away by the police as an explosion of a light bulb. While releasing the suspects, Chief Magistrate Doreen Mulekio said the court cannot take away the rights of the accused, which are guaranteed by the Constitution. A look now at international news. And a British Columbia man whose pregnant wife suffered a cerebral hemorrhage is now a father. That basically means she was brain dead. The widower, Ivor Benson's wife, Robin, was declared brain dead and put on life support to help give the fetus a better chance of survival. Over the weekend, Benson welcomed a son and mourned the loss of his wife.
Son Ivor, Ivor Benson looks like every thrilled new dad, except he's nursing a broken heart.
It's the best thing that's happened to me as far as having him here, and obviously there's nothing worse than losing your partner.
Ivor Cohen Benson was born Saturday night just after 7, 12 weeks premature, weighing in at just 2 pounds, 13 ounces. His mum, Robin, had been brain dead since the end of December when she was stricken by a brain hemorrhage 22 weeks into her pregnancy. Doctors at Victoria General Hospital, though, were able to keep her body functioning long enough for Ivor to keep growing inside. Hours after the cesarean section, doctors removed Robin's life support and she died.
We were hoping to get at least another 2 weeks, but it was just, it was time. Robin held on as long as she could. I was scared. I was scared all the time.
Their tragic story has touched a chord across Canada and beyond. A fundraising drive to help Benson take time off work far exceeded its target. The money, he says, will help pay for little Ivor's education and for him to hire caregivers. More immediately, he says, he's trying to stay focused on all of the pleasures of being a new dad.
It's amazing. He's just really, really cute, and he's really small, and I'm just really happy that he's here.
The new baby will have to stay in intensive care for 2 or 3 more months. But when he's big enough, Benson says he plans to read him all of the kind notes that people have written and to tell him what a great person his mother was. Chris Brown, CBC News, Vancouver.
It's now time for the business chat, and I'm joined by Makreen Abuka, who is the chairperson of the Safaricom Investment Cooperative, which basically is a SACCO for the organization. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so first question, why should anyone care about SIC?
Well, I think they should care to the extent that we're promoting investment within the country and also particularly within the work environment.
Is this something that you think other corporations are going to adopt, ones that haven't already?
I think yes, because we've been having a lot of inquiries coming through, so I'm expecting that the numbers will increase.
All right, now SIC has endeavored on a very, what some would call an ambitious project, a 1 billion housing project. Why did you settle on housing?
Largely because we needed to sort out the need from our members. So you find that the location that we chose is near one of our offices, and most of the buyers, as it were, are our members.
Most of the buyers are your members.
Yes.
So then why are you here? Why are we having this interview if the money is coming from your members, the buyers are your members? How do the public get access to these homes?
The homes are available to the public to buy.
Okay.
So in that context, they should have an interest if that location is of interest to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that the membership is for Safaricom staff, current and former, as well as the public, subject to vetting.
As well as the public, subject to vetting. Now, there's the interesting bit.
Yes.
How do people then become members? You said subject to vetting, but are there pre-qualifications that you need, prerequisites? Do you need to be a holder of a degree, have a certain amount in your account?
Okay, the level of information that we require is fairly, I would say, standard. So we need you to give us your identification documentation. And the way it works is that you make a contribution which buys you shares into the organization. And since we have a target of reaching a capitalization of 1 billion shillings, we have monthly contributions that people make. So you need to be able to agree to that in the application forms, and then we allow you to join.
You've said you're looking to get to the 1 billion target, and right now I know you're almost halfway there. But this is a significant increase from last year, but one, when you were just over 200 million, and this year you're looking at 500 million. How do those funds grow so fast?
Okay, there's the monthly contributions that the members make that buys them additional shares into the society, and then there's a plowback. So you find that in 2 weeks' time, we'll be having the AGM.
Okay.
And one of the things that we've done in the past, and which we hope to continue with going forward, is that when we declare dividends, part of it is plowed back. So in that plowing back, you find that the growth of capital moves by a significant quantum.
All right, final question. We're running out of time. Macreen, previously SACCOs have been seen as basically monies where people can just come and take more money out, basically a loan facility. Do you think in future other corporations will look at it as an investment opportunity, and will it even be used as leverage when it comes to employing people?
Okay, maybe a point of clarification is that we are not a SACCO, we're an investment outfit. We do have Safaricom SACCO.
Right.
So what we do is jointly invest. So you could sort of call us an office-based charmer. So guys pull in their money, and then as the leadership of the society, we identify the investment areas.
Okay. Well, that's where we wind up. That's all the time we had on KTN Newsdesk, actually, in its entirety. We're winding up the show. My name is Edith Kimani. Or did you know, fact, very quickly, did you know that there was a massive power outage in 1990 in Southern California? And what people would do is call 911 to say that there were strange clouds hovering overhead. What they did not know was that it was actually the Milky Way that they were able to see for the first time, because they didn't have light pollution. And you say technology is a good thing. My name is Edith Kimani. Good afternoon.